My name is Nadya and I would like to be your representative in the European Parliament. Have you heard it already? You have the ability to vote in the next elections for the European Parliament in Europe. These elections are very important. Why? Because many laws are made on the European level that affect you directly on the islands in Seba and Statia and St. Martin. I will give a short example. Do you remember the flight tax, the vliegtax? This was a law that was formed, that began on the European level, all the way in Europe in the European Parliament. It trickled down to the Netherlands where it was implemented, and later we here in the Antilles and Aruba were just left to pick up the pieces as we saw our tourists go down and the animal for tourists to come to our islands drop severely. This is a direct example of why it's important for us to think about what goes on outside of our borders. Well, I'm Nadya van Putten, and I think it's important that all of the islands of the Antilles and Aruba realize this issue. Why do I say this? I constantly see back in Holland how, well, we are not much in the news when it's something good. We're always in the news when it's something bad. And it's time for us to give a signal to the Dutch kingdom, to the Dutch government, that we appreciate our status in the Dutch kingdom. And more so, we should also send a signal to negative politicians such as Geert Wilders, who are constantly talking about selling us off, that we belong as an integral part of the Dutch kingdom. I have a special bond with up the islands. Why do I have a special bond? Of course, I'm a great fan of your carnival and your soca, but it goes even deeper. My father, George van Putten, used to work extensively with students up there in Statia, Seba, and St. Martin. I know many of you, your families. I fly and visit continuously the islands, but for these elections, I am not able to come. Due to my work schedule, it's just quite impossible. And that's why I'm asking you via this video to remember me when you go to vote for the European elections. You can't just go to vote like you're accustomed to in every other elections of the islands. The way to do this is by filling out a registration form. This registration form can be found at several government offices on the islands. This registration form may look complex, but it's quite simple. All that you need to do is fill in your name and your address, add that you want to vote by letter, then you put your signature and the date, you add a copy of your ID or your passport, and if these are lost or you can't, or it already is overdue, then you just go to a government office and get an uittreksel of your Dutch nationality. You put that in this letter and you go, and if in the case of St. Martin, you give it to the vertegenwoordiging van Nederland, the representation of the Netherlands in St. Martin. In the case of Statia and Seba, I understood that you will have to send it to this address on the bottom by mail. Once this is done, make sure you do this before the 22nd of April. It's very important. Why? Because unlike in the Netherlands, you have to register before you can get your voting bill. Once you have sent this letter up to the Netherlands, you will receive in a few weeks a stamp billet. And on that billet, you will be able to vote. I hope that this explanation of why it's important to vote for the European Parliament is enough. I know that we can talk about this for hours, so that's why I would like to ask anyone with any questions about this subject to visit my website, www.nadya.nl. Once more, www.nadya.nl. If you don't remember what I've told you today or what the website is, just Google it. I hope that we can keep in touch, and good Goodbye.